The following program is being brought to you on the Seventh Wave Network. For more information about our network and to check our additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit seventhwavenetwork.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management. Welcome. You have entered the realm of 1111 Talk Radio. Your host is Simran. It's time to discover your own language with the universe. Empower yourself, broaden your mind, open your heart, and discover who you are. Now, here's your host, Simran.
Welcome to this Monday, and all of that is exciting that will unfold in it today. It is MLK Day, and it is a day for really understanding that we are at one with one another. But in a world where we are and everything feels so separate, so dissonant, and so out of synchronicity and sync, sometimes we can use other types of tools to help us raise our vibration and raise our frequency. Sometimes we don't have enough time to do all of the inner work or all of the focused work, and it's easy to lose a practice or consistency of a practice. But what if there's a way that you could actually continue to grow and heal and empower yourself by raising your frequency, whether you go to bed at night, whether you're commuting on a train or in a car, or if you're sitting at your desk working? What if there's a way to raise your frequency, to change that frequency so that you actually are a change in the world without doing anything other than listening to great music? I have a wonderful guest today. His name is Ted Winslow, and we're going to be talking about sound technology. He's an internationally acclaimed individual for his pioneering work in research and development in sound healing and its positive effect on the human energy field. Ted's music features Sound Syntech, a customized brainwave technology developed through Binaural Beats compositions, sacred geometry, numerology, tunings, state-of-the-art recording technologies, and frequencies to create a theta and alpha brainwave state. He's a best-selling recording artist, producer, and composer with an international following. And I'm excited to have you learn a little bit more about sound healing and sound technology as to how it can support you in these radically changing times. Welcome, Ted.
Oh, good morning, and thank you so much for having me on today. Happy MLK Day.
That's right. I'm thrilled to have you on because you've got some great things. I've listened to quite a few of them. I put them on quite a bit, throughout the day or in the evening. I just love having them on in the space. And so talk a little bit about the difference between what you're doing and just regular music that we're listening to. What's the difference in the frequency, in the beats, in the focus, in the intention? Why should we listen to this?
Okay. Well, now it's a beautiful time because, as we're all aware of, with all the technology and everything that we're having that's available to us. So it's given me the opportunity to be able to do these creations and create into the frequencies that I am. What led me onto the path that I'm at today is that I was kind of a product of the 80s and playing some of the bands back at that time. And I was also studying engineering with my college degree and playing as a session musician and entertaining record companies with another band that I was playing with. And so at the time, in that day and age, as we were all working with limited technology, much less everything was in a standardized tuning, which I'll get into in a little bit, but it kind of dawned on me that through all the musical works that I'd done in this recording studio and playing live, that there was probably much more to these frequencies, that the instruments and pitches could be able to move and kind of change our body as we are. We're all oscillatory beings. We're all made up of energy. If we think of frequency as it is a measurement of electricity that can be distinguished in a unit of hertz, and our body is all electrical of multiple frequencies. So back to the playing with the bands and the standardized tuning, we kept tuning to one frequency. And as I started studying more about it, my curiosity started piquing as to what this was and why we came about it. The media starts to tune this in what's called 440 hertz. And so that's basically standardized tuning in A for those who are musically inclined. And then I started thinking, as I'm watching some of these bands break up at that time and the fighting that started going amongst the bands, and as I was coming off at stage on sometimes at nights, I could not go to sleep. I couldn't get my body back and trained to its normal state of being. And here I'm like going back to college in the morning, and I was just out of whack. I was in dissonance. I was not in harmony with everything that was going on in the universe. And so that's what led me to start looking into different frequencies of tunings and tuning our body. And it's kind of funny if you can imagine, here I am, kind of like the long hair product with those long-haired musicians back in that day. And I'm like, hey guys, let's get together and let's start working on something in a different frequency. Let's do this thing that's kind of touching base with sound healing. And as they're sitting there with cigarettes dangling out of their mouths, drinking beer out of a pitcher at 12 o'clock in the morning, I kind of got some funny looks at that time. So I could definitely feel a lower vibration as opposed to a higher vibration. So that led me to start working with this frequency of 528, which is basically the key of love. And then that kind of led me to go into 432, which is another universal frequency. And then as I'm looking at these frequencies, now they're not just the same standardized tuning where A would be like the key of A, for example, or you could do C major or A minor. And I won't go in depth with the music. I won't bore everybody with that. But each frequency would have its own key signature to work with. And of course, the key signature is going to have its own separate harmonic value from everything else. And being energy beings that we are and light beings, it kind of like started dawning on me. Well, we look at light through a whole different spectrum every day. There's different colors and different frequencies. Some people like reds while other people like blues. Some people like greens while other people like reds. And I was able to kind of realize with the music, we're listening kind of the same thing, so to speak. It's the same standardized tuning that they've given to us. And that's when I started noticing differences with myself and started getting into some of the science of it. So.
Well, we are all frequency. We all vibrate at different vibrations, and the Earth, they've talked about the Schumann resonance and how they track global lightning activity and that connection, and it's at a much more dense, lower vibration. And so as we increase this, then what we're doing is we are raising our own light body as well, because we are light, sound, and color. And sound is the language of light, ultimately. So when you go into these 528s and 432s, you're literally shifting us into a different brainwave pattern, which means then we can create from a different level, which means then we resonate out and ripple out into the world at a different vibration and level. So can sound actually then heal the body? If it's changing our brains and it's changing us in our frequency level, does it then ripple into the effects of this dense physical structure that we are housed in?
I believe that it does. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really prescribe with that, but I do believe that sound does help and change to heal our body. The Schumann resonance that you just described is basically a theta wave frequency that's it's actually probably between theta and alpha, because theta is going to be 4 to 7 hertz while alpha is 8 to 13. But a lot of scientists, the German scientists and Russian scientists, are now being able to show how sound is being able to affect and change the body. We can see what it's doing on the internet with easily Alzheimer patients. They have been able to show that it can also help reduce, clearly stress is going to be another thing, but it's also going to help minimize pain if people are listening to that there. There's, for example, if you go into the dentist, and when I used to go into the dentist, they were going to work on my teeth, sometimes they would put music on, and I'd wear some headphones and listen to some music. Ironically enough, I got a testimony from a dentist that she's sitting there working in her chair and had heard one of my shows, And you imagine a dentist is dealing with this drill with this high-pitched noise that we all cringe when we're in the waiting room thinking that we have to go into it. And she now puts my music on and starts to listen to my music while she's there. So it's shown a lot of benefits on that. I've got some studies that are on my website as well, because I could feel what was happening with me. I knew it was happening with me, and I'd give it, start putting my music to other people and other situations, and get some feedback that's come from that and some testimonials. And I was able to work with this. I've got this scientific device that I use that's a electrophotonic imaging system, so I can see how it's decreasing stress. It's also increasing the energy. Music and the frequencies increasing the energy in the clients. So yeah, to come back around to that, yeah, I believe it truly does help. It's a huge thing that we use in everyday life.
And so much of it is because we're using entrainment, we're allowing our brains to go into that more meditative state to where it is calm. And when we are calm, then we allow our systems of our body to be calm. We also allow the energy around us to calm down, because everything is ultimately connected. Talk a little bit about what binaural beats are and what is the importance within the music.
Binaural beats is going to be basically using for brainwave entrainment. So we're it's bringing your brain to a more relaxed state so that you can start to tap into a more meditative state. You can tap into your higher self. You can actually start manifesting that's there in those areas. So this technology that I developed, we call it Sound Sync Tech, which is going to be a basic customized brainwave technology that uses not only binaural beats that we're talking about, it's using the compositions, it's using the tunings that I described, and some of the state-of-the-art recording technologies that I'm using as an engineer. And so what I've been able to do is incorporate theta waves into these recordings of these frequencies. And on top of that, we're now adding in alpha waves. So you get hit with the alpha waves and the theta waves, as well as the binaural beats that's coming through with the frequency of the tuning.
So much of the work that I do has to do with helping people understand how important the shadow is, and the embrace of that shadow as another aspect of ourselves. I would imagine that the shadow actually has more resonance to dissident types of sounds. So is there a place for dissonance within sound healing to help bring up those qualities so that they can be brought into oneness as well? Or is the sound completely on the harmonic side of things?
Well, for my practical purposes, I've been bringing it in onto the harmonic aspects so that I bring everything back into harmony with our environment, with Mother Earth, and into our surroundings. Now, dissonance is good in an aspect that, for example, if those who like to go to the gym and you're tired that day and you're just not sure that if you want to get that workout that's in, dissonance will kind of agitate you enough that you can get through and get a workout because you're agitated. You're kind of on edge and being aggressive with it. That's one aspect that I can see that I've been using it, or that it can help with somebody. I'm not sure if that was the full question or.
That's perfect. And then in regard to sacred geometry and numerology, you incorporate those as well. How do you do that?
Well, Solfeggio sound healing is all mathematical formulas, which are based from these universal frequencies. And they've basically been around for ages. And as I traced that basically back to some of its origin, Pythagoras, he was basically 5th century BC. Pythagoras is walking along in one town one day, and he happens to hear an anvil, somebody at a blacksmith shop hammering on an anvil with a piece of metal. And in turn, he starts hearing these pitches. Some of them sound pleasing to him, and some of them don't. So he runs back to his workshop, and he builds this instrument that's called a monochord. And he starts kind of stringing it up and playing it, and he starts hearing these different pitches, and he's mathematically mapping them out. And here we're dealing with a guy that I find interesting. I know we lost a lot of his information at the time because of the burning down of Alexandria, the library, whatnot, but he was Greek and traveled around through Mesopotamia and Egypt and all of those great places. So he builds this monochord and starts playing with it and finds out where the pitches are. And then you look at there's the solfeggio sound healing I'm talking about with 528. There can be a triangle with that. So you've got 528, 852, and then 258. In music, colors is there's seven colors that make up the rainbow. There's also 7 notes that's going to make up on a musical scale, and then you go into the octave.
Oh, that's perfect. It really brings it all together in terms of all of the different technologies. And as stated before, most sacred texts say we are light, sound, and color. And so that brings it all together in one single, very harmonic place with all of that. When we look at the different work that you're doing, you talk about the benefits of toning, and our own sound so often is a place where we can achieve much healing. You teach people how to tone with the angels, how to develop their own tone and bring themselves into a place of harmonic resonance in utilizing their voice. Talk a little bit about vocal toning.
Okay. Vocal toning, it's the process that has really been around, used for centuries, which is used for self-healing, relaxation, balance and growth, and help to release anger. And just as we were talking about colors that we see every day, with the reds and blues and greens, the same kind of goes with this music, that we have the certain wavelengths of those tonalities that we're using, and we're using our God-given instrument to be able to bring these vibrations that's out of us. So it's not only opening up our chakras and balancing our energy and bringing us more into line with everything, but we're just able to tap into it. And I use it for vocal warm-ups. I help it to find my voice. And it's just a great way to give ourselves a quick sound healing, if we don't have access to all of these instruments or studio or crystal bowls or medicine drums.
Is there a distinct difference between listening and sounding?
I think you get more of a benefit when you're sounding off. I know that there's a lot of people that have a hard time to try to go out to experiment with that to find their voice. For example, I did in one of my studies with my music on my first vocal toning album, I had a client come in that I wanted to show her how it was going to affect her energetically wise by singing and toning with this. And unbeknownst to me, she doesn't like singing. She just doesn't have the confidence with her voice or for singing. And so when I got her into the studio and tried to have her sing with it, she was really upset. She just started saying, I hate my job. I hate my job. I can't believe my boss is this. What a terrible day. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, here's defeating the purpose of everything that I'm trying to show that we can do with these frequencies. And oddly enough, because I test them beforehand and then I test them after, and I thought the tests were going to be just blown because all this negativity is coming out. And actually, just by her singing what she wanted to sing with it, decreased her stress level. It brought her chakras back in. It gave her a complete different energetic healing, not to mention she was probably releasing something else that had been kept inside. So I tend to go, it's better to sing it out than to listen to it, but you can still get benefits by listening to it.
Oh, absolutely. It did sound like she got a bit of a release while she was also raising her frequency. My guest today is Ted Winslow. He has over 25 years experience in the music business. He is involved in extensive sound healing research through electrophotonic image testing, where he works with the effects of sound on the human energy field, which has validated his trademark sound healing technology, SoundSync Tech. SoundSync Technologies is a scientifically proven sound healing technology developed by Ted. Specialized sound healing music of 25 years of research. He utilizes Solfeggio Frequencies, Binaural Beats, Theta Wave Brain Technology, layering of frequencies, sacred geometry, numerology, and spherical sound waves, which are composed and mastered in a unique way, which have a positive effect on the human energy field. You can find out more about Ted at tedwinslow.com. There's also a special code to get a discount and a download, I believe, in addition to seeing all of the different CDs that he does, whether you're wanting to learn how to tone with the angels and increase your chakra balancing, or whether you are looking for sounds and CDs to have yourself listen to raise to the different frequency levels as you sleep, as you work, and as you play. We'll be right back with Ted Winslow, tedwinslow.com.
The Voice America 7th Wave Channel. Have you seen 1111? Do you wonder why certain numbers keep showing up in your life? 11, 111, 22, 33, 444? People all over the world are seeing 1111 and learning the language of universal communication. Subscribe to 1111 Magazine today. 1111mag.com. 1111 Magazine is a bi-monthly online publication that offers a rich multi-sensory experience. Engage with experts in topics of consciousness. Become enlightened, empowered, and energized, so you live a passionate and authentic life of conscious choices. 1111 Magazine, a daily staple for lifting the mindset, expanding the heart, and experiencing greater aliveness. 1111 Magazine. Order now at www.1111mag.com. 1111mag.com. This is the Voice America 7th Wave Channel. You are listening to 1111 Talk Radio. Simran is an award-winning author, publisher of 1111 Magazine, powerful speaker of wisdom, and a life mentor. Find out more at IamSimran.com. Now, back to 1111 Talk Radio.
Before we get back to our guest, Ted Winslow, I want to mention that 1111 Magazine is now on audio. It is a way that you can grow on the go. So definitely check that out at 1111mag.com. And you can receive 1111 Magazine from the very first issue. It is a curriculum in itself, and it will provide you the intentions, the articles, the information to allow you to continue to grow and expand your mind, your body, and your spirit. My guest today is Ted Winslow, and we are talking about sound and frequency and sound sync technology. He is an award-winning musician and has had tremendous experience in the music business and is now doing amazing healing music. You can go to his website and actually listen to some tracks, go under the special offer section, and you can see receive some free angel sound healing music so that you can understand what this is like and incorporate it into your own practice to raise the frequency and resonance of your body while you also shift your brain and your state of being. Ted's music is a technology called Sound Sync Technologies, which is scientifically proven. And you can look at a lot of scientific research where they have tested the difference between people in regard to their health once they've listened to the music and once they, or if they have not. He actually has a section on his website that shows you the difference in people. Ted, that was quite fascinating to go through that and watch how people really are shifted. You can see it in their energetic body. You can see it on the scans, what the effect of them is before and after. And most people don't realize that when we go through our days and we encounter different types of experiences, especially ones of anger, sadness, jealousy, rage, or places with very heavy negativity, that we actually create some divots and holes and leaks within our own energetic structure. So something like this allows that calming so that we can actually balance out our own energy body, so to speak. And I think you show that in some videos right on your site. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, on a daily basis that we're getting up and getting out of bed, we're kind of like getting ready, going to work, and we're like, oh, I'm just not ready for this. We're already setting out a negative energy because, of course, there's some other things that we would rather do. Or you've got family drama that might not have been resolved from the week before, the night before. You go into work, we do the job that we think is doing the best that we're that we put our best effort out there to get that taken care of. We don't get the proper credit that we probably need to be able, I call them attaboys, like, hey, attaboy, good job. That was fantastic. Keep up the good work. And instead, it's like, well, maybe you should have done this, or maybe you should have done that. And it starts to leave what I believe are like holes that are going to be in our auras and in our energy field, and starts to slowly tear us down. I've seen people where they just don't feel that they have a voice in their life, which has led me to the vocal toning series. So now that they could start practicing on their own, to start finding their own voice and then being able to get out there and use it. And where I'm able to look at this is through biophotonic imaging, as we had talked about a little bit earlier. A great example of this is the great Nikola Tesla. In 1905, or I'm sorry, probably about 1890, or around there, 1890s. Nikola Tesla was playing around with photons and energy, as we're pretty much all aware of, but not many people probably realize that he would have people come in to watch him with what he's doing. He'd turn out all the lights inside of the room that he was in, and he would step on top of this plate, and then he would hit the plate, and the electricity would hit, and colors would start to shoot out, and his hair would start standing on end. And so this was the first development of the biophotonic imaging system, of which I use. I've got a couple different devices that's able to go back and look at where your energy field is beforehand, such as that you've been not torn down or the holes have been shot into your chakras and your aura, and then listening to my music, where it's able to start to fill you back up with another whole frequency and entrain your body with your electromagnetic energy. It's the human energy field that we're going in and repairing with this. Now, the other thing is that we all know that when we're sitting down and meditating, we're able to help repair that. And I've seen a lot of people out there saying, how I got into it is like, you need to sit down for 90 minutes during the day and you need to meditate and focus on this. And I would sit down but I realized I didn't have 90 minutes. We're so busy with where we're going, being family, kids, getting the groceries to the work. 90 minutes is a luxury that we're trying to actually look for. So I wanted to find a way through my music and through these vibrations, how can I do it fast so that you can listen to it where you're at, get the entrainment, and have it quickly. Most of my compositions are roughly around 6 minutes, so you can sit down and listen to it in 6 minutes and start the process on that.
And when someone's wanting to use sound healing technology, it's going to work whether you are conscious or whether you're asleep, or do you really need to have a specific intention and focus and sit with it?
All of the above, to tell you the truth. I'm kind of like looking at things from the worst case scenario, because if we can start fixing things at the worst case scenario, we know it's going to be amplified onto the best case scenario. So I've done, for example, one of my studies that I've done, I have a testimony from, she's a 70-year-old woman that likes to go out to Vegas. And all the blinking lights, there's no clocks, sure the booze is free, and hit the slots and get lost in all of that and come back. And so I measured her right as she came off of the plane, and her chakras were tiny. Her energy level was not really radiant. She was really kind of coming inside of herself. So what I did is I had her listen to a song. I actually had her listen to 3 songs in that situation. And then I tested her, and all of a sudden her energy field started expanding, where she had holes in her energy field started to fill up with these frequencies. And then I had her go to sleep listening to the album. She would listen to the album, got up that next morning, we tested her, and she was doing even better at that point. So all of the above. I like to use it for myself when I'm sitting down putting intentions. I've been blessed that I can sit there and record this stuff out. I'm working on, I think, my 14th album. And every time I go in, I'm able to sit down, put my intentions, ask the spirit what it is that I need to be able to record for this so we can get this out. And we can be able to absorb it. Our bodies are something like 75% water. And so we're going to be entraining you, whether you're sleeping, whether you're awake, or you're putting your intentions out there with it.
I'm going to let you have a little listen to some of the music that assisted that 77-year-old, as well as others. So Ted, this is not unlike Masaru Emoto's work with water. This is basically, we are pumping in frequencies that we are allowing ourselves then to resonate with through music, because even in the intention like you spoke of, or even in allowing the brain to become more entrained, we are changing the frequency of the water that's within us.
Yes, that's exactly, that's part of the process of the whole thing. Is that we know that you shoot angry words at something there, it's going to start giving a negative energy, giving out a negative vibration, and we start to kind of like wither, we start to go inside of ourselves, our energy levels start to come down and get depleted. You start passing out love. I mean, just like your love for a family, for a child, for a pet, loving what you do, you have a much higher energy, a much higher vibration, and you start to be more vibrant, more colorful, and energetic in many ways. You're more conscious of the surroundings, and it's infectious. A higher vibration is more infectious than those lower vibrations, and you turn off the news for a day and just start going with higher vibrations of what's going to make you happy and going. It's going to start spreading, and you'll start noticing those changes. So Dr. Emoto was spot on with this, and to kind of go along with some of the science, if you don't mind, I digress a little bit.
Please
here.
do. Please do.
There's been I'm doing a study right now that I'll be able to have up. I've got the video where I did video of a plant. I wanted to see what would happen to a plant, because here it's water, just like we are. And so I'm able to show in a time lapse of where this plant is, and just hitting it with this 440 music of popular music and whatnot, and where the energy level of the plant goes. And then putting it with some sound healing and giving it other sounds, and the plant starts to come back to life. Now, again, with dealing with biophotonic imaging, this is measuring the light particles and the photons that are doing this electromagnetically. I can see where that plant was as well by taking a sample on it and recording that. So you could actually see where the energy is on that plant before, or with the 440 music, and then where my sound healing, where it's energized, the screen starts popping with energy. And so we're still in the process of putting that out and getting that up so people can really see what this is. Not only hear it, but they'll see it.
That's really beautiful. And so often, the ego and the brain, they want that proof to show that something is taking place for us to believe. But it is all actually happening. And you can add this music to a meditation practice. People can use it when they sleep, when they read, when they cook, when they relax. It's not like they have to learn anything specific to do this. They just have to listen, and it works within them as they're doing what they need to do. Yes?
Exactly. And if I can kind of go, I have my latest album is just coming out, which is Solfeggio Vocal Toning, which is again, as we were talking about the vocal toning, these are going to be self-healing powers that and I didn't answer that full question in full beforehand, but they're healing powers that we're able to use that's going to not only resonate through the chamber, of our bodies and help our energy field come through. It's resonating through our chambers of our bones and the mass in our body that's through using our voice. And it's also going to be including breath. It's going to be including the vocal folds along with your vocal and nasal tracts so that you can restore your body back to that electromagnetic energy. Nature is sound, and we're nature.
Most definitely. And even if you look at the ancient technology of yoga that has been brought through time, so much of what they do in that practice, it's to use that breath, it's to use the different channels, it's to understand this body as an instrument. And what you're doing through your vocal toning CD is you're allowing people to understand the use of this instrument and really help bring it into a place of performance for itself.
Yes, exactly. And that's the beauty with our own sound healing instruments. And with my music, it's in a little bit of a different direction, because if we look at our traditional sound healing that they did with playing traditional instruments with a drum, we kind of compare that as to the difference between drinking a carrot smoothie. We know that the carrot smoothie is going to be good for you, but with the technology that we have available to us today and that I've been engineering and pioneering, I can bring in all these other frequencies. So we're getting the turmeric that we know is good for arthritis and joints. We're getting parsley, we're getting apples, and getting all of that included into us that can much more beneficial than just that carrot smoothie.
It's superfood music.
It's superfood music.
That's right. That's right.
I love that.
I think about children. You know, children come in, we come in so open. We really are already connected. Our frequencies are already high. And then we are conditioned onto this planet, or we're sponges, and we're bombarded with all the different types of energies, and we just soak them right up. And, you know, I sit here and I think about, you know, for people that have kids, to just be able to put this on in the background or as something to go to sleep with at night, it allows that remembrance, that state of knowing to maintain itself amidst the world, so that we really can be in the world but not of it.
Exactly. I've had people that, you know, some of the children would have nightmares and they couldn't sleep at night. And so what they were able to do is they'd put on my music in the background and it would help them sleep. It would calm them down, as that they would be able to sleep. And then you can just only imagine what it's able to do to your subconscious if you go through that. And so and then I've gotten reports back that the kids, they no longer have to really listen to the music because they can go to bed at 8 o'clock. They're not sitting up till like 10:30. I can't sleep.
That's very important, especially even for adults. There's so many people that are dealing with insomnia. Fear is the cause of insomnia or lack of sleep. And we don't realize the thick veil of fear that can sometimes surround us, or what we have carried in our physicality that we've taken on from that 0 to 7 age range, when we don't quite have the emotional capacity or mental capacity to understand what's going on around us. And so sound is actually talking to the cellular structure. It's going past the ears and past the skin and into a part of us where we don't have to have control. And in fact, we don't have control. It allows it to heal itself.
Yeah, our bodies, they just drink up these frequencies. They thirst for the universal healing frequencies. It uplifts our energy, our spirit, clears our chakras, and allows us to connect not only with ourself, but our higher self and higher beings.
Ted Winslow believes changing your frequency is the answer. He has taken sound healing to a higher frequency. His work has been scientifically proven to change the environment, water, and human energy field in a positive way. He says you are the creator of your reality when you are in a harmonic frequency, and this can be accomplished easily by listening to my music, my healing music. When you listen to Ted Winslow's healing music, it will take you into a combined theta alpha brainwave state, which entrains your body into peace and relaxation. Your body, which is made up of over 70% water, responds and entrains immediately to the healing frequencies. You can find out more at tedwinslow.com. He has released his 13th album just this January 2017, so you can check that out, and you can discover all of the other work that's on his website. Again, that's tedwinslow.com. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Seventh Wave Channel on the Voice America Network. Have you seen 1111? Do you wonder why certain numbers keep showing up in your life? 11, 111, 22, 33, 444. People all over the world are seeing 1111 and learning the language of universal communication. Subscribe to 1111 Magazine today. 1111mag.com. 1111 Magazine is a bi-monthly online publication that offers a rich multi-sensory experience. Engage with experts in topics of consciousness. Become enlightened, empowered, and energized, so you live a passionate and authentic life of conscious choices. 1111 Magazine, a daily staple for lifting the mindset, expanding the heart, and experiencing greater aliveness. 1111 Magazine. Order now at www.1111mag.com. 1111mag.com.
The Voice America Live Events page is here now to showcase your corporate, individual, or organization's live event. Visit voiceamerica.com/live events to see all of our past live events and find out more. Whether it's a multi-day conference, special speaker, or single-day event, we've got everything to make your event a success. We can do a few hours or a few days. For more information about taking your event to the next level, call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or email info@voiceamerica.com. Again, that's Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or send us an email to info@voiceamerica.com.
This is the Seventh Wave Channel on the Voice America Network. You are listening to 1111 Talk Radio. Simran is an award-winning author, publisher of 1111 Magazine, powerful speaker of wisdom, and a life mentor. Find out more at IamSimran.com. Now, back to 1111 Talk Radio.
1111 Magazine is available for free online all the time. It is a magazine that is created monthly to celebrate individuals and to provide an opportunity for people to receive information and wisdom from so many others across the world that are doing great things. The issue that is out this year is called Wisdom Walker, and we are delighted to feature Shakti Gwain, who has the 40th anniversary release of Creative Visualization, along with Gordana Biernay, who is one of the leading Twitter social media mavens that is spreading consciousness and positive vibes. So definitely check out more of her to know the truth of who you are, in addition to great works by Andrew Harvey and many others. So check out this issue. It is free at the 1111mag.com site. In addition, to take a step beyond that, if you are ready to really understand what relaxation is, what presence is, what balance is for your life, you might want to check out some of my personal retreats. I work one-on-one with people and really help them understand how sacred they truly are, how their presence is enough, and how we are here to live in timelessness and boundlessness to create exactly what we want while we live on this earthly plane. You can find out more about the Balance Retreats, Mystery Retreats, and also Custom Immersion and Genius Retreats at IamSimran.com. My guest today is Ted Winslow, and he has some incredible music. I have absolutely loved listening to much of the sound healing music and the toning CDs that he has, and I definitely urge you to bring some of that into your space and allow it into your own spiritual practice so that you can allow your brain to be entrained to higher and higher frequencies, so that you can allow the blood that flows through you, the waters, the sacred waters that surge through you, to be amplified in their field through the sounds that are light, sound, and color. He goes into areas of sound healing, brainwaves, binaural beats, the benefits of toning, as well as angelic sound healing. And you can see his various albums that are on his website, his 13th, which is released just this month. Ted, when we talk about angelic sound healing, what is it that the angels have for us? What is it that we are here to gain from them, and how are they speaking to us through the language of light and sound?
First of all, by 1111 Magazine, that's for sure, in the radio show. As we know that all these numbers, these angelic numbers start to pop up, and I truly believe that the angels are giving us all of these messages to be able to absorb and listen and help to kind of facilitate a change in our life of which we may be needing at that point or in that time. And when I was working on some of these sound healing albums, I had my personal experience with it was that dealing with these numbers, I'm driving and all of a sudden I see a license plate that has 1111 on it. And my very first album was actually a rock album that I wrote solo. And it was like, I fly with angels. And I did. At that time, I truly felt like I was flying with angels. And so the frequencies that we have with them that I've recorded on a couple of albums are there to help us to connect with them and especially for those who are like, well, I'm not sure how to connect with them. And I think that by altering our consciousness with these frequencies, these angelic ones, they'll start to come to you. One of my experiences that I had was Archangel Ariel is I would take spiritual journeys in September, that I would go up to the mountains with just a backpack on and just get lost in the mountains. I would go off the trail. I'd walk with just a map in my hand and kind of looking where was a place for water and pump out water and sleep on the ground underneath of a shelter and just go journey and really try to find the frequency. And I kept having 777 come in. 777 come in, and that was Ariel was connecting with me and with the nature and the spirits and the trees. I had another funny experience working in the recording studio with a track of Jophiel, and as I'm recording this track for Jophiel, which is 663, creating beauty in your life, I'm doing a process of mastering it to what I'm sure is our technological standard for CDs, for being able to get on the web or whatever, to get so that I get the best frequencies available out there for the listeners in what format that they're going to get it. And as I would get ready to finish it, the whole studio would crash. And I'm like, oh my God. I go back and I get it all loaded back up again. And the studio would crash again. And it was like this 12-foot, 15-foot being behind me going, stop. It's good just with where it is. I was like, okay, I get the message on that. And so that's where that track had come from.
We are getting messages all of the time, and the triple numbers are definitely higher vibrational numbers and those of mastery. And you have both in your chakras CD as well as in the angel toning, you utilize those numbers and have them associated with a specific thought or idea that they're going to receive from the actual track. For example, if you are tapping into Raphael, then this is about physical healing, or Uriel is receiving divine knowledge and wisdom. 777 Ariel, just as Ted mentioned, is manifestation with help of the elements. And so to attune to these different angels, these archangels, whether or not you are the type that believes in angels or are of a spiritual affiliation, it really doesn't matter, because in the end, it's the intention of what is to be received that is coming through. Correct? Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the angels have their own colors and their own frequencies that are with it. We know that the numbers 555 is going to be that change lies ahead, and 777 confirming that you're on the right path of expected miracles. And I get asked a question quite a bit that is dealing with, well, Ted, I have this problem or whatever. I don't understand this, or this isn't happening in my life. What frequency do you recommend for me? And our body thirsts for these frequencies. I've got over, I don't even know how many tracks I have up now, but it's probably about like 145, maybe 150 tracks that are out there. You're going to know which one to instinctively go pick up, which what I want to do as well for your listeners is that if they go to my website, they can get 20% off of any of my albums that are up there right now. So you can experience that yourself. I like to put them on with headphones or have a good stereo system, but I understand we may not all have access with those, and also depending where the environment is, you can listen to it on your computer as well, or your laptop. But for the listeners, if they want access to this, you can get them on Amazon, you can get them on iTunes. Unfortunately, we can't offer the discount there. But if you go to my website at tedwinslow.com, and type in that, you'll go to the store, you can see the selection of albums. My new one's not quite up. We're still in the process of getting that up. We've had a lot of stuff that's coming up and a lot of changes, but so that'll be up soon, I promise you. But type in the code. You'll as you go to checkout, select the album that you want and go to checkout with it. And it'll say coupon code, and in there just type in Simran so that it'll give you that 20%. Make sure you see that 20% that comes on there. If not, you didn't do it right. You have to go backspace it so that you can do that, so that you can get the music at the 20% off. There's also free samples available on there too that you can download to listen to and get a feeling of it.
This is definitely a year of new growth, new foundations, and new manifestations. And so as you begin this 2017, Let yourself have all of the various technologies that can truly support you, and perhaps one of the easiest of which would be simply allowing something beautiful to go between your ears and into your body. And that would be Ted Winslow's music. So you can go to his website, check out all of his music, take advantage of the 20% discount. Thank you, Ted, for all my listeners. Use the coupon code Simran, SIMRAN, and enjoy that. Look forward to hearing of the many changes that occur in your life. And definitely email him as you notice the changes that you are experiencing by listening to the music. Ted calls it a frequency revolution, because we can change everything that's unconscious in our world peacefully and quickly by listening to this music, which entrains our bodies to a harmonic frequency which affects those around us in the most peaceful and loving way. As you are creating music, Ted, what tends to be your driving inspiration? Is it to move and shift the things that are in the world, or are you simply inspired by the higher frequencies themselves and just want to keep passing the limits of what you've been able to experience and receive from what you've already done?
It's really all of the above for me. I love the fact that I'm able to do this and share this with the world. As we all have our gifts, I'm blown away by how fast I'm able to compose these and be able to get them out there to the public, which really kind of makes me feel as though I'm really on the right path. We know that we've got the law of gravity, we've got the law of lift, which is the opposite of gravity, so that the planes are able to fly. But in 1905, Einstein had discovered the law of vibration. That it's a law of nature that states that nothing's in rest and that everything is going to move and that everything is in vibration. And I see so many people that are in pain or are not finding any relief with their situation or where they're at, and knowing that I could give them a track, something that's going to give them a higher vibration and put light into their day, is the first process that we can all start spreading more love and light amongst ourselves and just changing the vibration of this planet so that it's not a dark one, that it's love and light.
Oh, thank you so much, Ted, for answering your call on the planet and for putting out such amazing healing music for people to take advantage of in their own lives. Again, you can find out more of Ted Winslow's music at tedwinslow.com. That's TEDWINSLOW.com. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend the new Angel CD, as well as his Chakra CD, and just take advantage of anything else over there that calls to you. My guest next week is Mark Allen, and we will be talking about Shakti Gwain's 40th anniversary book, Creative Visualization, and how timeless those techniques are, along with his book, The Magical Path, as we celebrate New World Library's 40th anniversary. Until then, in love, of love, with love, and as love, I am Simran. Be well.
Thank you for opening your mind to a new reality, your heart to greater compassion, and your experience of aliveness with 1111 Talk Radio. Join host Simran next Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Time to step through the gateway of conscious living here on the Voice America 7th Wave channel. Remember, you are not on the journey. You are the journey.